If we are responsible, the future will be good for the future generations. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, 2023, Chapter 7, Offences against the State. Welcome to our discussion on Chapter 7, focusing on offences against the state. Section 147. This section addresses the gravest offence, waging war against the government of India. Anyone who wages war, attempts to wage war, or abets in waging war faces the possibility of the death penalty or life imprisonment, along with a fine. For example, if a person joins an insurrection against the government of India, they have committed an offence under this section. Section 148. Conspiring to commit offences under Section 147, or conspiring to overawe the central or state government using criminal force, is a serious crime. Those found guilty can be sentenced to life imprisonment or up to 10 years in prison, and they may also face fines. It is important to note that an act or illegal omission is not necessary to constitute a conspiracy under this section. Section 149. Preparing for war against the government of India, including collecting men, arms, or ammunition, or making other preparations, is punishable by life imprisonment or up to 10 years in prison, along with a fine. Section 150. Concealing a design to wage war against the government of India, with the intent to facilitate the war or knowing it is likely to facilitate the war, can lead to imprisonment for up to 10 years and a fine. Section 151. Assaulting, wrongfully restraining, or attempting to restrain the President of India or any state governor to compel or induce them to act or refrain from acting in any lawful capacity, is punishable by up to 7 years in prison and a fine. Section 152. This section targets those who excite or attempt to excite secession, armed rebellion, subversive activities, or endanger India's sovereignty and integrity through various means, including words, signs, electronic communication, or financial means. The punishment can be life imprisonment or up to 7 years in prison and a fine. However, expressing disapproval of governmental measures with a view to seek lawful changes does not constitute an offence under this section. Section 153. Waging war against the government of a foreign state at peace with India, attempting such war, or abetting such war, is punishable by life imprisonment, or up to 7 years in prison, and a fine. Section 154. Committing or preparing to commit depredation on the territories of a foreign state at peace with India can result in up to 7 years in prison, a fine, and forfeiture of any property used or intended for such depredation. Section 155. Receiving property taken in the commission of offences under Sections 153 and 154, knowing its origin, is punishable by up to 7 years in prison, a fine, and forfeiture of the received property. Section 156. A public servant who voluntarily allows a state prisoner or prisoner of war to escape from custody faces life imprisonment or up to 10 years in prison and a fine. Section 157. A public servant who negligently allows a state prisoner or prisoner of war to escape faces up to 3 years in prison and a fine. Section 158. Knowingly aiding, assisting, rescuing, or harboring a state prisoner or prisoner of war in escaping from lawful custody, or resisting their recapture, is punishable by life imprisonment or up to 10 years in prison and a fine. This includes prisoners on parole who exceed their allowed limits. In conclusion, Chapter 7 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita underscores the severe penalties for various offences against the state, emphasizing the seriousness of such actions and the stringent legal consequences they entail. Stay tuned to Info9 Cyber Media for more insights. Stay informed. Live in comfort.